Okay. I guess we're gonna get started. So today is, I believe, day 6 of the bootcamp. Welcome to the stream, and this is gonna be posted on YouTube, of course. So today is actually about the platforms and how to set up your accounts. And this is one of these controversial topics which everyone has to ask, especially on day one. So I remember 3 years ago, literally right off the bat, I had this as my first question. And every single person would have a different answer. In fact, most people would not give you the straight answer. They would tell you to, join their paid course. They're gonna teach you, or just DM them with the word account, and they'll give you the information, which usually is like something which I wouldn't trust. Like, I would rather take it straight up from them. For that reason, I'll clear up all the controversy, and we're gonna talk mainly about account setup. Now you might be wondering, what is account setup and is this even important? This is number 2. So in terms of importance, this is the second most important thing after the product. So obviously, if you've seen my previous bootcamp days or training sessions, you're gonna know that the product will contribute to most of your success, but then right after the product is actually the account. And I'm not even gonna talk about the editing, the content. This is obviously important, but trust me, you might have all of the above. So this is a criteria of, or like the things which you've achieved. So you've ticked the first box, which is a good product, and you have good editing skills, good filming skills, and even good backend. So you can accept payments, and there's no problems with your website, for example. But then the final problem is your account. So your account is pumping content, or the algorithm is sending the content to the wrong countries. And trust me, this is real. So some people might say, okay, what about warming up your account? Wouldn't it, share this content to the right person? It plays a small role, but most of it, and we're talking about it like geographically, okay? So if you want to target the US audience, even if you were to watch US audience, like US content for the next 10 days, okay, I don't think it's gonna surpass 5 to 10% US audience for your content. However, if you create an account using the ways which I'm about to share, then right off the bat, you're gonna have like minimum 30 to 50% US audience. And this is not gonna be easy, but I'll share what I know, what I've learned over the years, because even till this day, I have 2 phones, and I decided to keep one for local market and then the other one for the US market. And it's been paying off, it's been working. But yeah, let's get into it. Let me just clear up all of these confusions which you might have. So I hope you understand now the importance of having a good account so that you could target the market that you're looking for. Now you might be wondering, what sort of markets should I be looking for? So number 1, actually I'm not gonna put them in order, okay, because all of them are equally good. There's this controversy that you need to market to the US if you want to make money. That's a big misconception. And actually this was, I think, like fed to you, okay, all over the internet, especially by gurus, to literally make them make money in different markets. Think about it. So all of the products which we see oftentimes are from the US. So if you are marketing to a good market with a good product which is already proven to work in the US market, then you could introduce it to this new market with zero competition. And I've been actually like working on this for the past year. That's literally why I have a separate phone for local market. Nobody in my position would have went for this. They would just go for 2 US phones, but I went for the risk. I wanted to test like purely the local market, and I'm gonna tell you my conclusion in a bit. However, I have not reached the full potential of this account or like this phone with the local market. So regardless of what I share with you, it's not my final opinion about it, because there's a lot of potential with it. So what are the countries which are best to market to? So obviously US, Canada, Australia, Swiss, and then the EU. These are like some of the best. There might be a few which I've missed, like Japan. I know you're not expecting this from me, but Japan's actually really, really good market. I've had a lot of sales from there. Don't ask me how. It somehow reached there. So these countries are by far the most performing ones in terms of like what I've seen. And this means you don't need to just stick to the US. So oftentimes you might be like, there's a lot of people who are living in EU and they're stressing over how to target the US. Okay? You really don't need to. It's just like a bonus. So what I always advise, for example, my affiliates, is to have multiple phones, leave one for the EU, and then one for US marketing. This way you're gonna, make the most out of both markets. But if you were to have only one phone, and let's say you received your product, but you are delaying action because you're blaming it on the market, then you're just being distracted with what people are telling you. EU is a good market. So if you are living in any of these countries or in regions, by the way, it's a regional thing. So I'll explain what I mean. If you are living in any country in the EU, then most likely your content will be pumped throughout the region. Same for me. So if I were to, I can give you facts here. Literally, my account is created in Dubai, but I was expecting to get more sales in Dubai, but I would say it accounts for like a very small percentage. The majority are actually from outside, so EU. I can give you a full breakdown, but I'm just gonna say it has the reach I'm getting here, as far as I know, is very minimal. And that's crazy because my account is literally created here. It's on my local phone. And then obviously on my other phone, which is US, is primarily US. But yeah, it's weird. So for my case, obviously it's way better to try to target these countries, especially after I tested for that past year to see what happens. The conclusion was, although I created my account here, the outreach is going to the EU. I even get from Japan, what else? Australia, India. Yeah, so like Asia and stuff. So there's no problems with it. It's bringing me a lot of sales, but I'm just telling you guys like some facts about the markets. So if you're living in EU, perfect, post there. If you want to go to the next point, go for the US, and so on. So now that you understand the importance of targeting the market, and by the way, the reason why this is really important, like another reason, is actually the average lead. Okay, so let's say you were to get 1,000 clicks to your website. You want to make sure that the most amount of customers would purchase from the 1,000. So for that reason, we're trying to try and market to different countries. So now that I've cleared this controversy, okay, you can market to any of these countries. By the way, Asia is good. Like, I wish if my content would be more targeted. Like, I would love to market to Saudi Arabia, for example, Qatar, Dubai, and so on. But that's what I was expecting, right? Turns out it's not as efficient or effective as I thought. One hidden gem, which I've never spoken about though in the past, thank me later, Snapchat. Snapchat is very localized. It's super specific with the lead generation. So I think my Snap is actually bringing me the most sales which are localized or in the region. All of the rest, for the EU and US orders are coming from IG and TikTok and YouTube, of course. So if you are trying to target local markets, Snapchat is like one of your best tools, you could say. So yeah, obviously it's under the same umbrella because we're talking about platforms today. So yeah, focus on Snap. A lot of people, they don't post on Snap and Facebook. These two are like hidden gems. And think about it. Whatever you post, or let's say everyone's talking about these three platforms, no one's talking about the other two for a reason. They're either gatekeeping them, or if they are, talking all the time about these three platforms, which are IG, TikTok, and YouTube, that means most competition will be in these three platforms. Hence why the other two will be literally empty. So you could take any saturated product, take it there, blow it up, go viral, and make money. So now the next question would be how? How can I target these countries? How can I market to US and so on? There's multiple ways, okay? The very first one which I want to mention is US SIM card. And the more people I talk with in the space, and this is like at any level, some people are making literally 6-7 figures. Some people don't even know about this. Like they don't know exactly how it works. Okay? You just need to buy a SIM card, plug it into your phone, don't activate it, and you're gonna have TikTok shop, literally. So in other words, it's mainly for TikTok. I have noticed that this does not change anything with your IG outreach or your YouTube. However, TikTok gets you literally just change the app. The app just changes completely. You get all the perks, the US account perks, such as TikTok Shop, and your reach is going to be like 90 to 99% US. So it's very specific outreach. And yeah, it's like perfect for providing you with good quality leads. So it's worth it. Like if you're wondering whether you should buy a SIM card just for one platform, I would definitely recommend you do that, because TikTok is actually helpful for two things. The first one is if you were to only receive or watch US content, and most competition is in the US, that means you're going to be scouting for competition, products, ideas. So whenever you see a new winning format or winning idea of a content piece go viral, you could replicate it, film it, and post it on the other platforms, and then you are on top of the competition because you already know what's going viral on the US market. So that's the first one, to gain ideas and even gain products. So you could see the dropshippers in the US. The second point is obviously to create content, post it, and get customers from the US. Okay, so I don't want you to just get a SIM card purely for generating leads from the US, so US leads, but it's also for ideas, or just like being able to see content which is very specific to the US. Okay, because you can say whatever you want. I've noticed that even when I'm on a burner account, I'm very limited. Like at one point, I'll see the same products over and over again. And you could relate to this on Instagram. Instagram is very good for finding branded pages, but TikTok is always better in terms of finding newer trends or new pump and dump products, or even custom or brandable products. Just whatever is new to the market and is blowing up, you're more likely to see it first on TikTok, and then it will follow up on Instagram. So yeah, now that we know the first method, and this is purely for TikTok, the second method is the VPN method. And personally, I don't do this because when I first started, I had two options. Either I go for the VPN method or the SIM card. I went for the SIM card and I just got used to it. I stick to it. And I've even heard from some people that this is very buggy. So sometimes you would get shadow banned, especially on YouTube and TikTok. So for that reason, I didn't bother and try it. But some people tell me like it's working for them, so it's up to you to decide whether you want to try it or not. The third method is having someone in the US or any other country. So let's say you want to create an account in. Actually, let's just stick to the US for now because that's what I have the most experience with. But I would assume that it would apply to any other country. So if you know someone in the US and you ask them to create you an IG account in the US and then give you the account, you're more likely to have US audience. Okay? So that's how I tackle this issue, which is targeting US audience on Instagram. So I use the SIM cards for TikTok, and then I have friends who could create this for me in the US. And now I'm gonna go into more details on how to do this. So most people would stop here. They would just tell you, let someone make you an account and that's it. It's more than that. You actually wanna go for rebooting your phone. Preferably, okay? And just the moment you clean it up, you're gonna have to pick the US as your country and then create a new Apple account, all of the above. And finally, once you download IG and the other platforms, that's when you log into this account. This way you're gonna more likely stick with the algorithm, which is primarily targeting the US. Sometimes it might bug out. Eventually you will get back to your original algorithm. That's where you might need to use the VPN method. But I've been using this account for over 2 or 3 months now, which I've had someone create for me, and it's been perfectly working fine. How do I know? Obviously the analytics, that's one. And even two, the Facebook targeting. So Facebook ads. The ads which I would get on my primary phone are completely different from my second phone. Okay? And funnily enough, I get most of my, my ads from gurus selling courses on my US phone. So I guess that's what a lot of people like to pay money on in terms of Facebook ads. But here it's like way different. So yeah, these are like primarily the 3 best ways to target different markets. And this is my all-time favorite, the US SIM card, because it's just too easy. You just plug it in and then you have the perks of seeing content and sharing content to the US. And by the way, this can be applicable to any market you want. Germany, for example. And if you know, like there's so many people who, actually I'm gonna just say there's one person who I could trust online who actually did this and it worked for him. So now he has like multiple SIM cards, one for each country that he's trying to market to. So yeah, you could scale with the first method. And yeah, this is I think pretty much it for the account setup. So let's see, we covered the importance of having a good account, what are the good markets to market to, and then how to develop or how to actually do it, how to get this sort of audience. Next point is platforms. So this, I'm gonna just combine the two into one video. So the first one was just to set up your account, but now I want to share some real gems about the platforms. So which are the most important ones in terms of bringing you leads and what to expect, okay? Because this requires a lot of testing for you to understand what to expect from each platform. For example, I've said this in the past, IG is number 1 and it's still number 1. I'll tell you why. Whether you have a good account or not, IG will always be superior because it has too many functionalities. It's more than just a page or a platform where you just post. Instead, you can actually reach out to people, you can receive DMs, and it's way more social than TikTok. Because you might argue that TikTok you can also receive DMs from people. But I've had pages with over 50k followers on TikTok, and by the way, I dumped them. That's one thing which I'm going to talk about in a second about TikTok. It's not as valuable as IG. IG is actually an asset. So having pages with 50, 100k followers or more on IG is actually a big deal because it's way more trustworthy. And two, it's way more presentable. So you can have highlights, and these highlights could be curated to tackle down every single concern your customer might have. So you could have Q&A or FAQ, and then feedbacks or reviews, followed with, link in bio, like literally a highlight for showing them the link. Because a lot of people DM me for the link. It's unreal. Like I have literally the link is so clear, but still I get so many DMs. And yeah, obviously you can have stories which are easily presented to your followers. Unlike TikTok, I feel like TikTok does not, like it's really unlikely that people will watch your stories. Obviously you can go for it, but it's not as effective as IG. So yeah, it's way better because of the DMs. So you could reach out to people and receive, more like it's not even cold outreach. They are literally reaching out to you because they're interested. So they're way more likely to purchase. That's the one thing which you need to understand. Like at first I was not replying that much, but then I realized the importance of replying because they're literally just a few questions away from purchasing. Okay. And I want to even tackle down one more point, which is very new. So not a lot of people talk about this. Having a bot on your IG. This is really important. I'm actually glad I opened this up today. This is actually like a new method for making the most out of your IG. This is the first time I speak about this, by the way. So IG, another reason why it's really powerful and why is it number one, you never get shadow banned. So I still remember whenever I would go viral on TikTok, I would still worry like on what sort of activity I'm doing. So whether I'm liking too much, whether I'm replying too much, whether I create or change my account to a business account, like any sort of setting or sort of like bot like activity you would do actually has a downside of you getting less reach, so you get shadow banned. For that reason, IG does not even have this. So that's why it's number one. So why is this important? Because if you have a bot, I still have not fully set it up. Like I didn't set this up completely, but my competitors have this. I've seen literally millionaires do this strategy with their personal brand. So they would never reply to a comment or a DM. Instead, they would just set up this bot and then say like type this certain word in the comment or DM me the word X, for example, and then the bot will do the rest of the work. So now thinking about it, because I'm getting like hundreds of DMs a day, and it's really exhausting. It's a full-time job to reply to DMs. So the bot will solve your problem, and you will not get shadow banned because it's just IG. It's built different. So yeah, this way you're gonna have more like an automated machine that will just constantly bring you leads. So IG constantly gives you views. If you went viral once, you can replicate it by following the same format which you've went viral with in the past, or even reposting. You could repost. So in other words, it's a view printer. Literally you get so many views and leads, and then you have a bot which is replying to all of them. This way you get a lot of leads to your website. So that's why this is number one. And then obviously TikTok takes the second place. I have to give credit to TikTok just for the average quality of the lead. So TikTok has a way better quality leads. It's like way more specific in capturing the right group of interest to watch your content. So the algorithm on TikTok is way more like effective in making sure you have the right audience and from the right countries, which is why I like it. But one of the downsides, which is the main one, the account is not an asset. So if you have an account with like 25k followers, it's nothing to be proud of, unfortunately, because obviously you're gonna make the most during the time where you go viral. So let's say this is a timetable, like a table here. This is the time where you went viral. You're gonna constantly be going viral or getting leads, and then you're down. This is how TikTok works. Instagram though, it's more like rock bottom, then you go up, 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 and then you have a sort of equilibrium. This is what I like about Instagram. So now that you know the difference, let me see, did I miss something about TikTok? So account is not an asset. So obviously stories are not as effective. They're not like IG. There's one point which is really crucial about TikTok. Let me see. Okay, it's taking me, I think I lost the idea. That's not very good. Anyways, apart from these, which are the most important anyways, although I said that having, okay, I remembered. The final point is actually about going viral. I've noticed, this is crazy, I've noticed that IG has become easier to go viral on than TikTok. And there's multiple reasons for that, okay? One is obviously you can repost on Instagram. So you can follow a winning format, okay? Winning strategy to get your first million views on Instagram, which I'm gonna share here. I'm literally just sharing all of my, I'm brain dumping all of the sauce in this video. So the first way is to create this theme page where you just post just like any other meme or theme page you'd see. So whether it's about, you know, anime page or car page, do it for a matter of a few weeks, and you're most likely gonna have a lot of engagement. And this is gonna be, in most times, way more effective than posting for your own product. You can, you know, sneak in a few product posts here and there between the theme page content, but this is like proven to work, and this is by far the best way to grow following. And once you see a sign of going viral, that's when you present your product. So imagine it the same way as any theme page. They would grow their page, and then once they go viral, they start selling promos for brands. It's the same concept, but you are doing it, and you're doing it professionally, so that you could do this in as soon as possible. So you could create multiple theme pages, grow them in a matter of a week, repost the most viral content, or like controversial topics, put credit, just like a theme page, and then once you go viral, put your product, rebrand. So that's for Instagram. And you might be wondering, why can I not do that on TikTok? Main reason is because on Instagram, you can repost. TikTok is way more strict in terms of the quality and the origin of the content. So that's one of the reasons why it's way harder to go viral. For example, I share my content with my affiliates on Google Drive, and what I've noticed is whoever posts the content first often gets the best number of views. So if I were to post second, I would literally get a message in my analytics saying that my content is not being shared to the For You page because it's not original. So TikTok is way smarter in terms of detecting unoriginal content or, you know, split tested content. So that's one. So you cannot split test. Sometimes you might be able to from experience. So maybe 1 in 3 times of split testing, it will actually get views, but then the other 2 will get shadow banned. And then the other one is if you are not running a product which is trendy right now. So in other words, if you're not running a pump and dump, because most of the time, the reason why people go for pump and dump products is because from the word. They're currently pumping views, so they're gonna ride the wave, and then once they stop getting attention, they're gonna dump the account and the product. So TikTok is perfect for pump and dump, but if you can somehow figure out a way to create the same sort of attention grabbing, so you would get a lot of attention just like a pump and dump product, but with a branded product, then you're gonna print with TikTok. Okay? But if you want me to like completely be honest with you, TikTok is way more in favor for pump and dump products. That's how people go viral in a matter of a day or two or a week, versus someone who's trying to build a brand, or running a product which is proven to work and old. It's nothing new, but then it's proven to work, so you can run it. That's more often to take longer to go viral. So yeah, this was really in depth, and I hope you're taking notes here. Let's move to the next. So what would I rate as number 3? It has to be YouTube. It's not gonna be Facebook, not yet. Give it some more time, maybe it's gonna make it, but YouTube is very powerful, and you can say what you want about YouTube, because I know a lot of people say that it doesn't convert well for dropshipping content. It has a lot of it, like it unlocked a new way or a new level of dropshipping. So the first one is the ROI of creating content and posting it on YouTube. And the best part is you're just reposting the content which you've done for those two. So if you were to record, edit, post, you're posting the same piece of content on all of the platforms. So your ROI here is actually one of the highest. You need to understand this point. Why is it the highest? Because obviously you get leads, that's one, just like the others. But then 2, you are getting closer to 100k subs, so you get more credibility. You get your play button. Some people reached 1 million plus subscribers and gotten the golden button. And then thirdly, the ad revenue and the watch time. So this is like pure. This is pure profit. So this is more like just the change on the side. So yeah, YouTube is the highest ROI, and that's why branded makes the most sense with YouTube. If you were to, even pump and dump, whatever you wanna do, just follow a principle. So make a page. Let's say you decided to go for products which has to do with the female audience. Okay, so you run a product which is a pump and dump product for a month, and then you dump it. Instead of just dumping all of the accounts, especially the YouTube one, rebrand the page to the next product. Now post again. So what happens is, over a span of a year, instead of just keep on dumping all the accounts and not making anything in return, what often happens is you're gonna stack on followers or subscribers on YouTube, and this is gonna increase your return for all of the effort you've put in the past. And trust me, this could go like so fast. I've seen so many people with mediocre content, but because of the controversy or because of the format, there's a lot of different formats which works only for YouTube, which doesn't work the same on other platforms. So if you capitalize on these ideas, you can make the most out of YouTube. And yeah, these mediocre videos often get a lot of views simply because they're following a winning format, and they can get you like 10k subs per video. There's a lot of, maybe I should make a separate video for this, only for YouTube, because there's a lot of sauce which is only for YouTube. It doesn't apply to any other platform. So, but yeah, I hope you understand this. Like, YouTube has the highest ROI in terms of like everything. Obviously the sales will be lower, but it's global, so it gives you international customers. It has a goal, so 100k is your goal, for example, and you have pure profit from the ad revenue, or from the watch time. So yeah, these are the top 3. And then number 4 is Snap, mainly because 2 things. You have stories, which are very effective, but most importantly, it's localized. I would argue it's the most localized platform out of the 5. So you would find very, you know, very regional or very localized customers, but also you can reach out to them. Okay, so you can get DMs and you can reply. This is so OP, so overpowered. So I was not using Snapchat for the past, I think for the first 2 months, I was not making the most out of my Snap. But then I realized I could be replying to questions with snaps or stories. So I've noticed, actually, let me quickly break down the downsides of Snap before I go to the, I don't want you to just think Snap is the best one by far, because there's actually some really important downsides. The downsides are, one, the comments. Whenever I tend to comment to like reply to someone, I get flagged, or like it just doesn't show on the system. You know, like it's way more strict than TikTok in terms of commenting. So if you comment a lot, maybe 1 out of 5 will show up. I don't know what's the reason behind that, but this is what happens. So instead of commenting, you should reply with Snap. Okay. And then the second downside, which is the most important one in my opinion, is the link. So you can add a link in the story, but it's very awkward. Like you click on it, it's really hard to, it's not the same as Safari or Instagram browsing. For that reason, I feel like it's way harder for them to navigate to the checkout. So one way to combat this is to, you know, make an easier website for navigation or for purchasing. Preferably click on the link, you see the price, you click buy now, you go to checkout. So these are the downsides. Upsides, you have stories, you have the Snap, so you reply with Snap, and it's localized. Okay, that's pretty much it for Snap. Finally, Facebook. Facebook is very new to the market in terms of the organic space. So I'm gonna tell you what I know about it, but personally it has not paid off at all for me. So one, it performs the best for controversial or emotional content. So these perform the best on Facebook Reels. The second one is it actually has more, on average, the quality lead is actually willing to pay more on Facebook than on other platforms, because you might already know the median age using Facebook is way higher than any of the other ones. So here they're way more willing to pay. Yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. Maybe the third one would be that you can create a community on Facebook, which they can trust and purchase from. So yeah, what I mean by controversial and emotional content is it feels like only certain products would perform better or perform really good on Facebook. Meanwhile, the other products which are just wow factor. So if you have a wow factor product, it might not perform as good on Facebook as on the other ones. But if you were to create something which is emotional or, you know, controversial, it will often get views. And by the way, you can post for like a month without surpassing 100 views on Facebook, and then suddenly you go viral. It's just how it works. So for that reason, it's like the bottom one, and then the others are the top. Okay, so I think I've broken down most of the fundamentals, and yeah, this was a very important video. I think this was by far one of the most important ones, because I've taught you how to target certain markets, and then secondly, how to expect or what to expect from these platforms. So yeah, I hope you guys took notes and try to apply these from now. So if you've seen my past 5 days of the bootcamp, you're gonna know that we are now more getting closer to the practical ones. So this is maybe the first practical one I've shown you, where you can actually set up your accounts, get the SIM card, so you can prepare for going viral in the right market. So yeah, I still haven't decided what's going to be on day 7, but we'll be updating you guys on the next day. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you on day 7.